Hakadosh Boker Or Shavua Tov Masechet Zevachim Daf Pei Daled Amud Aleph 84A1. We're starting in the Mishnah. The Mishnah is I don't know how many lines down. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 lines down. Elu. It says over here like this. Elu im alu. Right? We're talking about right now the psulim. Right? These psulim that they came up to the Mizbeach when they became pasul lo yerdu. They do not go down. Which are these ones? Halan. Right? Which is the lina, the one that stayed overnight. Vayotze, it comes outside of the Azara. Vatameh, becomes tameh. Shenishchat, chutz izmenov v'chutz l'mikomo. If it became, if it was done the shchita outside of the proper time or place. V'shekiblu psulin v'zarku edamo. Or the people that were pasul accepted the blood. Remember, the only ones that are allowed to accept the blood is the kohanim. Right, not the shchita. The shchita could be done by anybody, right? And they sprinkle the blood as well. Rabbi Yehuda says, "Shenishchap balayla v'nishpach dama v'yatza dama chutz l'klaim." Imalta tered. Says Rabbi Yehuda, what happens if the shechita was done in the nighttime? Or the blood was spilled, right? Or the blood went outside of the klaim. Imalta, if it goes up, tered, it does go down. Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi Shimon says, lo tered, it does not go down. Right? Why? Sheken Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi Shimon says, kol korban, any korban shepsulo b'kodesh, hakodesh mekablo. The kodesh is going to accept it. Lo ya psulo b'kodesh. If it's not going to be psulo b'kodesh, right? And a kodesh mekablo. So therefore, meaning, when did it become pasul? In the kodesh or outside of the kodesh? If it was inside of the kodesh, so therefore the kodesh is mekablo. If it's going to be that the psul was not in the kodesh, so the kodesh is not mekabel because it was already pasul beforehand. Meaning, even before coming inside, the kvar haya pasul. לפני שזה הגיע לפה. Okay? Next, ואלו Shelo ayu psulim bakodesh. These are the ones that there was no psul in the kodesh. What does that mean? That it was already pasul beforehand. Lifnechen ze kvar haya pasul. What are the cases? Harovea ve'nirba. Bestiality. Anytime whether it's going to be the male or the female, whether it's going to be, and this is the animal, so it's going to be pasul. Muktzeh. Right? What is going to be now the muktzeh? So you, what? The muktzeh is a behema which is segregated for avodah zarah. Okay? והנאבד. What is נאבד?
לקחו את הבהמה הזאת לעבודה זרה?
Which one? נאבד is that it was actually served. Yes, shavdu bakvar. Muktzeh is it's segregated for it. Exactly. Okay? Next. Right? והאתנן. אתנן is אתנן זונה. והמחיר, which means a present giving to a zona to have relations. המחיר, this is מחיר כלב. That was switched for the dog. Right, which means that it was given to the zona, like right, or a behema, which was given as to buy a dog. So he says over here, right? So he says, "Vakilaim, kilaim, trefa, the trefa." Everyone knows what a kilaim is. Basically, a behema that was born from two different species. For example, a keves and a reis. A trefa is an animal that's going to die within the year. Yotze dofen, which means that it came out from the mother's womb like a C-section. Uba'ale mumin or balmum. Rabbi Akiva says it's going to be kosher and balmum. From Chanina Segana Kohanim Omer, doche haya abba et ba'ale mumim el mizbeach. He used to push it off of the mizbeach. So these are the ones which what? Which is not psulim bekodesh. Biglal sheze lo psul bekodesh ken yordim. Okay? Keshem she'im alu lo yerdu, kach im yerdu lo yalu. The same halacha applies that if it went up, it doesn't go down. If it went down, it doesn't go back up again. V'kulan she'alu chayim lerosh hamizbeach. Anyone who came up alive, yerdu, they do go down. Ola she'alta chaya lerosh hamizbeach tered. If you have a korban ola that went up alive, you take it down. But shachta berosh hamizbeach, if they did a shchita up there, upashit, right, yafshit netcha b'mkoma, they do it up there. And that's when they're going to do it. Okay? Until here we're clear? Tanya, we learned. Gemara, Tanya, we learned in the Braita. Rabbi Yehuda says, Zot hi haola. What does it mean? Zot hi haola are three mutins. Remember, a mute means that it's exclusions. So there are three exclusions. Okay? Prat l'shenishcheta balayla. This comes to exclude that if the shchita was done in the nighttime, right? Or nishpach dama. So he says like this, there's three mutin. Remember, a mute means that an exclusion. When I say zot, it's zot velo masho acher, correct? When I say this one and not another one, right? Selila, or right, come and say something. It's this and not that. That's an exclusion. So when you say zot, he, and oha ola, each one are three exclusions. Prat l'shenisheta balayla, this comes to exclude if it was done shchita in the nighttime. L'shenishpach dama, if the blood was spilled, or yatza dama chutz klaim, that the blood was taken outside of the klaim. Isha imalta, that if it went up, Tered, it's going to go down. Rabbi Shimon says, Ola. What does it mean, Ola? Enli ela Ola kshera. That's only going to be when the Ola is going to be kshera. Minayin lelabos shenishchata balayla. How do I know if it's going to include if it was nishchata balayla, ושנשפך דמה, ושיצא דמה חוץ לקלעים, ועלן, right? והיוצא והטמא ושנשחט, right? חוץ לזמנו, חוץ למקומו, ושקיבלו פסולים וזרקו את דמו. הניטלים למטה שנתן למעלה, למעלה שנתן למטה, הניטלים בחוץ שנתן בפנים, בפנים שנתן בחוץ, ופסח וחטאת שחטן שלו נשמע מניין. How do I know in all these cases? Meaning, how do I know in all these cases that if it goes up, it does not come down? Everybody understands what we're talking about? This is very, very simple. What we're talking about is we gave 20 different cases. The cases itself, they're not difficult. But basically, all the yesod is that even if it became pasul and disqualified, the second it goes up to the mizbeach, you just let it go. You just let it go. Yeah. Why? It's already there. כן. ברגע שזה כבר למעלה, זה כבר למעלה. מה? לא משנה. אבל ברגע שזה כבר למעלה, זה כבר למעלה. זה הפשט, that's what the pshat, when we said that the mizbeach is mikadesh, it purifies. It's a purification. Meaning, lichatchila, ודאי שזה לא עולה להקרבה. Meaning, if somebody brought this korban, they're not going to be tzedek chova for their korban. He has to do another one, 100%. זה ודאי. But, if the korban is כבר למעלה, תקריב אותה.
יש עניין בגלל שזה עבודה קשה להחזיר אותו בחזרה למטה?
No, because it's like a pgam. It's like a pgam.
Yep. Only if it's going to be burnt.
Which one?
Only if it's going to be burnt.
No, before the shchita.
Not the ones that the Kohen eats.
No, anything. Oh, well, okay, we're going to speak about that.
Before the shchita.
Which one?
Before the shchita.
No, if you bring it before the shchita, so then he says...
You bring to the Kohen before the shchita, they say, oh, no, this is a muktzeh.
So that's fine. So then don't bring it up.
אז לא שוחטים אותו.
ודאי שלא. Right? צורת העולה is teaching us ריבת תורה אחת לכל העולים שימלאו לא ירדו. The second went up, it doesn't come down. So יכול שאני מרבה את הרובה ונלבע ומוקצה ונאבה ותרם ומחיר כלב וכיליים וטרפה ויוצא דופן. So now one second. If I just gave you a whole list, how many did I give you? I gave you נשחטה בלילה, נשפך דמה, the blood came outside of the כליים, הלן, היוצא, they went outside of the בית המקדש, עבודה זרה, טמא, נשחט חוץ לזמנו חוץ במקומו, right? קיבלו פסולים וזרקו את דמו, ניתנים למטה, למעלה, למטה, למעלה, למטה, בחוץ, בפנים, בפנים, בחוץ, פסח וחטאת שחטאנו נשמע. You got here 13 cases here. In these 13 cases, what about all the other cases? רובה ונלבע, an animal that was done bestiality to it. Or, for example, muktzeh, it was designated for avodah zarah. Or ne'evad, it was actually served for avodah zarah. Or etnan zunah, it was given to a zunah for a present in order to have relations with her. Or the mechir kelev, that they come and they're switching for the dogs. The kilaim, right? Or trefa, or yotzeh dofen. Right, which means that in all these cases, a kilaim obviously is an off-breed. So they took a keves and an ez, samu otam biyachad, ve'az zaya lahem et a kilaim. Or a trefa, it's not going to live the year. Or yotzeh dofen, right? So he comes and he says, right, how do we know in all these cases? Talmud Omar comes to teach you zot torat. What does it mean zot torat? So he comes and he says, right, when it says zot torat, it's coming to teach you, it's coming to be ma'et, right, that even if it went up, you do take it down. You have to take it down. So why are you deciding which ones to include? One more time. I included the first list. The first list was shechita in the nighttime, right? The blood spilled on the floor. You took out the blood outside of the Bet HaMikdash. It was done halina, right? Lan, right? Yotzeh. They took the entire animal outside of the Bet HaMikdash when it wasn't supposed to. Shchita chutz lizmeno chutz limkomo. Kiblu psulim nedam, and they sprinkled it. Nitanin lemata lemala lemata lemala. Chutz bifnim bifnim bechutz.
Technical mistakes versus the other one. The other one is not much.
No, we said the yisod already.
The animals is meant to give an exclusion, right? All these cases you just
mentioned
is the rule,
right?
Except for those animals that are designated. Those you bring down. You understand?
No. But I said the yisod beforehand. What was the difference between all of these ones and all of these ones? What was the difference? I've got two lists.
When you bring down,
you bring down, or when I leave up? What was the difference?
I would say that one is technicality. One is a subset of the other.
A little bit better. A very simple. A little bit better.
So, for example, if you had
the second I'm going to say it, you guys are going to say it.
You have, right?
The answer, we already said it, is what the Gemara is going to say now. Why did I decide these ones and these ones? The answer was which did it come in already pasul, or did it become pasul here? In all these cases, shechita in the nighttime, the blood spilled, it came in kosher. It was 100% kosher. Then it became pasul over here, meaning here it became pasul. Whether it was because you did the shechita at the nighttime, the blood spilled, you took it outside, lina, you took it out, it became tameh here. It was shechita here, the blood up, down, inside, out. Everything was here. The psul was done here. The other case, everything was done beforehand. When did they do bestiality? In the Bet HaMikdash, for sure not. It came in with it. Right? When did they do the Avodah Zarah? No, it came in with it. The Muktzeh. So that's what the Gemara answers. The Gemara says on Pei Daled Mubet, we're almost done the daf. Yeah? He says like this. He says, Ma'achar sheliba katuv, umiet marbe ani et elu shaya psulan b'kodesh, umotzi ani iter shelo ya psulan b'kodesh. I'm going to come and I'm going to include the ones with the psul is in the kodesh, and I'm going to exclude the ones that the psul was not in the kodesh. Meaning, if the psul was not done in the kodesh and the psul was done beforehand, so I'm not going to bring it up. And if it even went up, I have to bring it down. But if it came in kosher, there was a mistake done here. So if the mistake was done here and it was already kosher when it came in, so if it already went up, I let it go. Understand? It's a very simple difference between them.
Process, not by origin.
Yes. That if that's what you meant, then yes.
I meant those animals.
Right, exactly.
Fine. I didn't realize that. No, you didn't say. I didn't. What I didn't read.
So Rabbi Yehuda, we're almost done. You guys have it. 84b. 84b says the Gemara. Rabbi Yehuda comes and he brings it from here. Why do we say that if it's going to be that you did lina with the blood, that it's going to be kosher? Lan kasher b'munin, because lan is going to be kosher by the munin. Lan b'munin kasher, is it really kosher? So he says lan kasher b'basar, it's going to be kosher with the basar. Yotze, right? What about yotze? Shayotze kasher b'bama. The yotze is kasher in the bama. The tameh hoilvut alavoda b'tzibur. Chutz zmano, he says hoilu meratze lepigulo. חוץ ממקומו, הואיל ויתקש לחוץ לזמנו, שקיבלו פסולים וזרקו את דמו בענף פסולי, דחזו לעבוד הציבור. So he comes and he says like this, do you realize, right, that he's learning all the kodshim and the psulim, except for these ones that he was motzim in a klal, that they don't go down because there's a svara by each one. By the lina, by the lan bedam, it's going to be kosher. He says, why? Because it's kosher by the emurim. The emurim are kosher to bring even at nighttime. So therefore, since the blood is the blood is like the murin. Lan b'murin is kasher. He says yes. Why? Because lan is kasher b'basar. It's going to be kosher by the basar. For example, the shlamim. You have the entire night to do it, and you're still able to eat it the next day. Remember, shlamim is how many days? Shnei yamim v'layla echad. Yotze. What about yotze? You took it outside. Shayotze kasher b'bama. The yotze is going to be kasher in the b'mama. Right? What about the tameh? Tameh is hutra b'tzibur. Remember, the once that something is tameh, but it's permitted in the tzibur, chutz zmano, is going to be a hekesh, right? It's going to come and it's going to be miratzeh, right? When it's going to be because of the pigul. Chutz imkomo is a hekesh with chutz zmano, right? Shekiblu psulim v'davar damam, ana psulim v'chazol v'dat tzibur. So says the Gemara, v'chidanin davar shelo b'chshelo midavar shechshelo. He says, I don't understand you. Can you compare something which was done kosher with something which is not done kosher? So answers the Gemara, Tana, we learned zot Torah ta'olah ribas samichle. He says there is a concept of that we're including it. When it says Zot Torah Ta'olah, it's coming to include all these things that they go up, that they're going to not go down. Okay, that's where they're learning from. So Rabbi Yochanan says, Hashochet be'ema balayla bifnim, he'ela bachutz. What happens if he did the shchita at nighttime? Right? But then what happened is that he takes it outside. Right? He's going to be chayav. That means even though he did the shchita, right, and he did it in the nighttime, right, which was already a problem, but he did it inside. He did it fine. But then he took it out. The second that he took it out, he's going to be chayav for taking the kodshim outside. Lo tepechuta mean shochet bachutz u'maleh bachutz, but it's not any worse if he did everything outside. So Mati Rav Chia, we're just going to get to the tiyufta, right? He comes and he says this. So Mati Rav Chia comes and he says, right, until the Amarula. Right, so he comes and he says this. Mati Rav Chia barabin, we're on Pehei Amud Aleph on the top. So ask Rav Chia barabin, right, ashochet off bifnim u'maleh bachutz patur. If you do shechita to the off inside the azara, and then you took the off outside, so you're going to be patur. Shachab bachutz u'maleh bachutz, but if you did everything outside, you're going to be chayav. So he says, why don't we say the same thing? Nema lo tepechuta min shochet min maleh bachutz. He says, what, it shouldn't be worse, right, than the shochet and doing everything bachutz. So he says, Tiyufta, it's a good question against Rabbi Yochanan. If you could answer, shchitat of bivtim miktal ktale is considered like you killed it. It's not a shechita. That's why he's trying to say that you cannot come and compare the two cases, because the shchitat kochim balayla is considered a shchita. Here, when you're killing outside the bird, it's not considered anything. Okay, fine. So